Our next inductee, Mr. Basketball from Carson Newman, Dr. Chris Jones.
Chris Jones is a name synonymous with Cocke County and Carson Newman athletics, especially basketball. Chris still holds many records in football, baseball, and basketball at Cocke County High School, even though he graduated in 1958, 55 years ago. Chris stands as one of the best ever to don a basketball uniform as a Carson Newman Eagle. He led CN to their first 2 NAIA national tournament appearances and over 50 wins in his final 2 seasons. He was Carson Newman's first All-American in any sport. Chris was drafted by the NBA's Cincinnati Royals and the American Basketball League's Kansas City Steelers. After the ABL folded, Chris regained his amateur status, leading teams which were made up of SEC and ACC All-Americans from Macon and Atlanta to 4 consecutive AAU tournaments in Denver. He scored over 1,500 points for 5 consecutive years while averaging over 44 points per game. He was drafted back into the pros with the Oakland Oaks and later played with the Kentucky Colonels of the ABA. Chris returned to Carson Newman as the coach in 1981, taking over a team that had won just 5 games the year before and transforming them into a club that won over 20 contests. In his 7 seasons, Chris Jones led the Eagles to nearly 200 wins as Holt Fieldhouse was energized like never before. Chris wrote 2 books about the history of Carson Newman athletics. Dr. Chris Jones is currently an assistant professor at Lincoln Memorial University, where he served for over 20 years. He received his BS from Carson Newman College, Master's from the University of Mississippi, and Doctorate of Education from the University of Georgia. Dr. Jones is a member of the Carson Newman and NAIA Hall of Famers, and he was voted to the Carson Newman and NAIA All-Century teams. Tonight, he adds another Hall of Fame to his resume. Please welcome Dr. Chris Jones into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Kelly took, by the way, my name is Johnny Cash. This is nice, isn't it? And I want to say that for Vince Gill. He's really one of my favorites. But I'm older than dirt. You understand that, don't you? You know that you're old when a little girl comes up in your little clinics and that kind of thing, which I'm still doing, and said, "Coach, you had my meemaw." I said, you're right. And then, to beat it all, I've been in college teaching a long, long time too. And I had some kids, and, mamas and daddies go through. And then, you really know you're old when you have their sons and go through college, So, I thank God, first of all, the Almighty Coach. That's the only reason I'm here, because I've outlived the system. You know that? For them to put an old 73-year-old in here from Cosby, from around Newport, Tennessee, where Al Capone and Bugsy Siegel used to come in there and took over the moonshine business. When my parents, that's in the late 20s and the 30s, Prohibition, you don't even know that. But I was born in 1940. I'm thankful that I got to grow up in the late 40s and the 50s. We didn't go around doing this right here. We had a ball in our hands, So after I got off the Cosby Highway, by the way, Popcorn Sutton took over the moonshine business. But every little town is like Cocke County now, Newport. But we had some pretty good people there. And after I moved off the Cosby Highway, I got up toward town and up toward the food, the factory up there, Stokely Van Camp's, where they pay you $1 an hour, But anyhow, there's something that changed my life. There's a little boy in that neighborhood. He's 5 years younger than me, okay? I played a lot of ball with his older brother, and they wouldn't let him play, you know, in the little reindeer games. They'd make him sit over there, you know. And his brother'd slap him around, you know. But I sort of took him in. I taught him how to kick a football through his little swing set. Taught him how to shoot a basketball and hit a baseball, you know. And that little boy's name was Steve Spurrier. Everybody thinks he's from Johnson City. I know it's a bad word around here, Steve Spurrier. I also taught him how to throw that visor, you know. But he was competitive, I'll tell you that. He was about as competitive as I was. But he wrote me a letter later on. And thanked me for everything I'd done for him, that I was his first, you know, sports hero, Christian sports hero, you know. That sort of changed my life. So ever since then, I've been working with kids and, you know, trying to get them going. But the Almighty Coach, you know, he gives us a game plan, and he gave me a triple threat, though. He gave me a trifecta. I've got that over these people because I played for 25 years. Jim Collins, he's the one that nominated me, one of my teammates. He said, "Coach, you got three. You're trifecta." I said, "How's that?" He said, "Well, you played for 25 years. You coached for 25 years, and now, see, I've taught for 25 years at Lincoln Memorial University. Of course, I used to teach at Carson Newman, too. So I got to do all three. These last 25 years, I've learned a little bit about life, you know. Sometimes we get these sports up here and make a god out of them, and I did, too, when I was coming along. I still love sports, but I found out it takes a lot more to life than sports, okay? God first, your family and friends second, you know, your studies, well, your health's in there too, your studies, and then you get down to sports, you know, and your hobbies and that kind of thing. But I got them mixed up, you know. I made a god out of sports. Kelly, you took all my time, so I can't. I'm the oldest, I'm supposed to talk the longest. Like I tell my students at Lincoln Memorial, you know, I'm not smarter, I'm just older. Some of them say, "Coach, what's the book? Where's the book at?" I said, "You looking at it." But you know, God gave me that 25 years, Rick. I taught up there at LMU. You used to coach up there when I was coaching at Carson Newman. By the way, Rick Bird was a tough out. He coached at Maryville. He coached at LMU when I was coaching at Carson Newman, and he coached at Belmont, you know. And he was a tough out. He's a heck of a coach, you know. I just had better players back then, Rick. That's the only reason. That's the only reason I could whip him. But the reason I couldn't whip him now, it's the Vince Gill area, you know. But Rick, I'm gonna hand it to him. They always talk about him as he got overachievers. To me, that's the mark of a great coach, you know. Who's kidding who? My wife could sit over there and I won 30 games when I was coaching at Carson Newman. I had all them 7-footer D1 players everywhere. Leonard would have liked to have had some of them. Well, let me get to thanking people. I'm getting to talk too much like Kelly. This table right over here, I love them. My wife of 50 years put up with me for 50 years. This Diane Jones, she will have, I'm going to give her this right here. She belongs to that. And all my grandkids are over here, and they can kick it, hit it, and shoot it. As a papa, I wanted to teach them how to kick it, hit it, shoot it, and love the Lord, and not in that order, like I did, okay? And so, and my son and my daughter, and my son-in-law, my daughter-in-law, and there's so many people to thank, and I wrote them down here, but I got off track. My wife's going to have a fit, but your coaches, your teammates, your assistant coaches, your players made me a good coach. But I want to thank Lynn, Pal. I know who's behind the scenes, Lynn, getting this thing going. Dr. Bill, And Chris, you all are the athletic directors. You know that, don't you? We're just the players. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be on your first team. Because these last 25 years I've already done this. But I now, see, I mean the drug marches, I've led drug marches through East Tennessee. I'm making a stand, brother. I've put to all the schools, churches, and everywhere else. But now I'll have the thing of I'll be representing the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. You call me, I'll be there, okay? And I'm gonna give this girl a hug. Those people like Peggy are the real heroes, okay? And the veterans that went over and fought the wars that we can play sports, okay? I'll leave you with this, Galatians 6, 4, and 5. In everything that you do it to the very best of your ability, for you'll have the personal satisfaction of work well done, and you won't need to compare yourself with anyone else. For each one of us has faults and burdens of our own, for none of us is perfect. To me, that means that you don't have to be the best athlete on the team, just do your best. You don't have to be the best student in the classroom. I tell my students all the time, just do your best. You don't even have to be the best person in the world. But if you've got God's love in your heart and you're trying to help other people and treat other people like you want them to treat you, you're going to make it. And you're going to improve your mind, body, and soul every day. Because when we leave this world for a brighter day, the only thing we can take with us is what we gave away. I love you. God loves you. Thank you.
Our next inductee is a University of Tennessee football great,